So let's solve one example under what? Under the one port network. The question says we are to find the driving port impedance function Z0 for what? For the network. So you have to notice that we have 2 ohm and we have 2 Henry and we have 2 Farad. The first thing that we are going to do, we have to first convert the network into S what? Into S domain. So how can we convert this network into S domain? So to convert the network into S domain, we have to first notice that to convert any network to S domain, resistance which is in ohm, it is always what? It is always that resistance. Suppose I have 2 ohm resistance here, so to convert it to S domain, it will become only what? Only 2. The reason is that a resistor has no S term because its voltage current relationship it what is the same in both the time domain and what? And the S domain. But why these 2 Henry, it will now become what? It will now become 2S, and 2F, it is what? It is inverse, so it will now be 1 over what? 1 over 2S. So this is how you can convert what? How we can convert network in what? In S domain. Resistance, you are just going to put only the value, and 2 Henry, which is the inductance, you are just going to add S, and when it comes to capacitor, which is 2 Farad, it is what? It is the inverse, which is 1 over that capacitor, and then you have to add what? You have to add S. So for now, the question we have to, after converting, we'll have something like this. So we'll now be having only 2 here, and we'll have 2S here, and we'll have 1 over 2S after converting the network in what? In S domain. So the next thing that I'm going to do is that the ZS will now be equals to 2 plus what? Plus 2S, because they are in series, plus 1 over what? 1 over 2S. This is the same thing as over 1. This is the same thing as over 1. So the next thing that I'm going to do, I have to say ZS, it is the same thing as what? It is the same thing as what will be the LCM? LCM will now be 2S. So I will say 2S. So this 2S into 1, I'll have what? I'll have only 2S multiplied by 2. It will now become what? 4 multiplied by 2, which is 4S. And therefore plus 2S into this one, it will give me 2S multiplied by 2S. I will get 4S squared. 4x squared. 4s squared, and therefore plus what? 2s into 2s, it will give me what? 1. 1 multiplied by 1, it will give me 1. So this is what? This is a solution of what? Of the first question. So you can say 4s squared plus 4s plus 1 divided by 2 what? 2s. So another question says find the driving point admittance of Y of S. So we are given what? We are given the circuit all in parallel. So there is one thing that I need you to know, but let's first convert it to what? To S domain. So after converting it to S domain, but don't forget this is parallel. At the end I will have, let me draw the circuit. So as you all know, this 2 ohm will now become only 2, and therefore I'll have only what? Only 1, and I'll have what? This is Farad, and don't forget to convert Farad to S domain. It is just an inverse where I will say 1 over only S, and don't forget I have what? I have 2 here because this is 2 ohm, and therefore I have 2 what? I have 2 Henry. So this I'll just only add s, so I'll have 2s here. So I hope you get the circuit. So the next thing that I'm going to do, you have to take note that when the branches are connected in parallel, the overall admittance in the network is given by what? By addition of admittance of individual branches which one connected in parallel. So you have to take note that the resistive branch, let's call it ys, it is the same thing as 1 over 2, and the capacitive branch, which is y of s, let's call this 1, let's call this 2, it is the same thing as 1 over, I have all this 1 over 1 plus 1 over s. So it is like in parallel, and this is the same thing as saying s divided by s plus 1. And therefore the inductive, which is y3 of s, it is the same thing as what? I have to say all this in what? In parallel. So therefore this is the same thing as saying 1 divided by what? By 2 plus 2s. As you can see, this is 2 and this is what? This is 2s. So the next thing that I'm going to do, I have to first find the total of y1, y2, y3, and what? And this y1, y2, and y3. So don't forget, I have 1 over 2 plus s divided by s plus 1, and also plus 1 over 2 plus 2s. So you have to take note that this 2 plus 2s is the same thing as saying what? It's the same thing as saying 2 into s plus what? Plus 1. So you all know that. So I have to delete it and put 2 what? 2s plus what? Plus 1. So I have to delete it and say 2 into s plus 1. So I have to take this as my LCM. So I'll say 2s plus 1. So this into this, 2 will go with 2. At the end, I'll say this s plus 1 multiplied by 1. So I will end with only s plus 1. Then I will say plus this 2 s plus 1 into s plus 1. S plus 1 will cancel s plus 1. At the end, I will left with only 2s. And therefore, this into this, it will give me 1. So 1 multiplied by 1, I will say plus 1. So this is the same thing as saying. I have to say, but I need to have some space. Let me clean the circuit. So what should I going to say next? The next thing that I'm going to do is that I have to say this s and this 2s, it will now become what? 3s. And then plus this 1 plus this 1, I'll have what? I'll have 2 divided by what? Divided by 2s plus 1. So the next thing that I'm going to do, I have to multiply both sides by s plus 1 by s plus what? Plus 1. So this s multiplied by this, I'll get 3s square. So I'll get 3s square, and this multiplied by this, I'll get 3s. After then 2 multiplied by this, I'll get plus 2s. This multiplied by this, I'll get only what? Only 2. So then I have to say divided by, so divided by what? Let's say 2s plus 1 square, and s plus what? S plus 1 square multiplied by this 2 is the same thing as saying, but I have to show you. Let me show it for you so that you will not be confused. S plus 1 and also s plus 1. S times s, I'll get s square, plus s times 1, I'll get s, plus 1 times s, I'll get s, plus 1 times 1, I'll get what? 1. So I'll have s square plus 2s plus 1. Don't forget I will multiply with this 2. So this will now become 2s plus 4s plus 2. So you don't have to be confused, but I have square here. So then I have to say 2s square plus 4s plus 2s. At the top, I have what? I have 3s square plus I have 3s, I have 2s. So it will now be 5s. I will say plus this 2, I will have 2. So this is the solution to this question.